Hey guys, Shelby Paget here. You guys might see me on YouTube, riding dirt bikes, mountain biking, living the dream out here in Idaho. Originally, I'm from California. I wanted to sit down, take some time today. A lot of people ask me about Idaho from a riding perspective, whether that's motocross or mountain biking, or just lifestyle perspective, what it's like. Especially since a lot of people are familiar with what it's like to live in California or in San Diego areas, Bay Area, Washington, in areas where you've got like major metro like Dallas and Austin areas that are developed, Boulder, Denver, these areas that really got a lot of attraction a while back but have become pretty populated. And people are starting to venture out as they're able to work remotely, able to explore kind of where they'd like to be and for different reasons, kind of see what those communities are like. And so just wanted to do a short video today, post it up here and talk a little bit about Idaho. I grew up in the Bay Area and ended up coming out to Boise, Idaho area about 6 years ago myself. And at the time I worked in big tech, working for tech companies, doing outside sales and territory development for emerging and new technologies like Internet of Things or edge networking and security, Wi-Fi, stuff like that back in the day, even VoIP way back 2009 or so. And ended up finding myself out in Idaho. Figured I traveled for work at the time. I'm gonna go ahead and end up purchasing a property out here. If I liked it, stay. If I don't, I could sell it, rent it, or move back to the Bay Area where the jobs were. And so ended up purchasing a property, and then one thing kind of led to another, and ended up staying here and absolutely fell in love with the area. Eventually I found myself transitioning from big tech and outside sales to developing and creating my own real estate business here. Started out just kind of a single venture with myself and helping people that were in a similar boat looking to escape the traffic, the density, the wait times, some of the community atmosphere things that go on where you're just in such a busy market in like San Jose or San Diego or LA where everybody's just kind of on their own rhythm and their own beat to their own drum about what they need to do for them, right? And it's not always the case, but it's pretty felt as you go around, you go out, just little things like going to a coffee shop. I noticed when the first time I went back to California after living in Idaho for a while, just like the baristas, they wouldn't make eye contact with me, didn't say, how's your day, or thank you so much, or what are you up to? I guess some small town expected communication things that didn't happen in California, and I realized, oh my gosh, that's the stuff that really makes this place just so endearing. And when you're in Idaho, you get to communicate with the community. I always tell a story, I went to Home Depot one time, and I literally was asked what I'm doing that afternoon, where I live, what football team I was rooting for, and I was getting nervous because I was still new to the area here, and there was a line behind me, and I was already checked out, and the teller was still just talking to me like a normal person. And for those of you that are from Idaho, you guys are amazing, and you're probably very familiar with that type of demeanor. But for someone not from this area, that is refreshing. It's so nice to be able to sit and have a conversation with another human being as human beings. That's pretty cool. And that does happen in California and other major metro areas, but it's just not the commonality or commonplace for your day-to-day community interaction experience. So having little experiences like that were huge. And that's just kind of the community atmosphere, right? Like going to coffee, going to dinner, going out to use public resources or public parks and such. It's just everybody waves, everybody says hello, everybody's pretty nice and inviting, which is so cool. And that was just one of the factors that really got me rooted here when I initially moved. And the reasons I stayed, that was one of them for sure. And that's still true today, tenfold. Like I know most of my neighbors in our neighborhood. We walk around the block with our baby and with the dog, and we talk to, 5-10 people just in our walk for 20 minutes. And that's cool. I never had that experience before. And then also, in addition to that, outside of that, what I love to do with my free time. You guys watch my YouTube channel or stuff on Instagram or whatnot. Obviously, real estate and building my real estate business has been absolutely fun and such a blessing to be a part of that. God's been so gracious with us in those regards. But what I really enjoy doing outside of that from my day-to-day work stuff is riding dirt bikes, snowboarding, skateboarding, BMX, mountain biking, being out near the river up in the timberline, just being outdoors really. And I like cars a lot too. If you guys know the channel, obviously all that stuff's on there. So check it out if you want to see what it's like to experience Boise and the surrounding areas from a lifestyle perspective, and see our videos. But back home, where I came from in San Jose, if I wanted to go dirt bike riding, if I wanted to go mountain biking, if I wanted to go surfing, there were a few things that kept popping up. Or go to the skate park. There were traffic and drive time, which usually was longer than the actual sport or session that I was doing because I lived in San Jose and had to commute. Restrictions and regulations were just massive. Like every time you go on a trail, you got to watch out to get cited by the rangers. We got cited one time for speeding over 15 miles an hour on a mountain bike trail. So that's just crazy. Like what's going on, right? And I know there's reason and there's intention behind that, which is all fine and dandy, but you don't have that here. It's at least not yet, and I hope that doesn't ever happen here. But it's you just go ride. And the skate parks, right? Like back home in California, if you had to go to a skate park, it's like there was certain hours that they were open, and then in certain days you could skate or rollerblade or bicycle, and then you have to have a helmet, you have to have knee pads, you have to have this and that. So that just got really obnoxious over time. In Idaho, I can just go ride. If it's light enough to see, I can go ride. It's amazing. The community preserves the local dirt jumps, the BMX track, the trail systems that are all interconnected. There's hundreds of miles of single track and terrain to navigate on the mountain bikes. And they also overlay to some of the dirt bike and off-road trails, which is just epic. I can go downtown 15, 20 minutes from my house, go right up, like one of the popular ones is 8th Street, and I can be off-roading in my truck or my dirt bike or my mountain bike, my e-bike, whatever it is, within about 5 to 10 minutes, and I can just go explore. You don't get hassled by people, you don't get stopped, you don't have to go through all these hoops, and that's just a really cool feature and value to living in an area like this with the mindset that the community has, that the people have that live here, and the organizations that preserve and allow us to experience those things. So that is a huge factor. Moto, mountain bike, surfing, literally surfing. You can surf on the river here. There's multiple surf spots with a hydraulic lift gate in the river. A lot of people shortboard or foam board, and you can go out there and surf session. It's pretty sick. There's also tons of lakes, so if you wakeboard or wake surf or you want to be out on the boat, you can do that. There's 3 lakes and reservoirs within 20-30 minutes of any direction of town for the most part. So all those things are super cool. Those attributes of Boise and Idaho is why I'm here, why I initially thought this might be cool. People opened my eyes. I never really knew much about it 6 years ago until I got here. And you've got BSU, you've got Dutch Bros Coffee, tons of boutique coffee places too, which is just something I personally just enjoy a ton. That's really cool. I love going to experience different places that are privately owned or boutique style for coffee, food, breakfast, stuff like that. And Boise has that. And there's motocross tracks, the trails, the surfing, the outdoors, the housing environment. Yeah, we're more costly than we were 6 years ago by a ton, probably around 250, 300% almost. But that's to be expected. There's a reason people are exploring Boise as a great place to live. People are paying $1 million for fixer-uppers in San Jose. I'd much rather pay $500,000, which is a lot, for a beautiful new construction home in Meridian or Boise. Like, why not, right? Or even upwards of that if you have to, depending on what your needs are. So I think that it's well worth it, especially with the way that our environment for work and income and that landscape has changed and transitioned to not so much and not so often being in an office anymore, as much as you do your job, you work where you want, and you basically have to ensure that you get your job done, right? And the great thing about that is you can live where you want. So a lot of people are choosing Boise, Idaho, and surrounding areas. We've got Boise, Meridian, Eagle, Garden City, Nampa, Caldwell, Kuna, there's Middleton, Star. All these are pretty much the main areas that really make up the valley, the Treasure Valley, if you hear me say that. And all the communities are pretty adjacent to each other. So check it out, look it up. If you guys have questions about Idaho or moving from California, what that transition looks like, what the cost of living looks like, what the people here inviting you, or what that invitation looks like, or that experience, I guess, let me know. I've been through all of it. We've worked with tons of clients. We've moved over just about over $100 million worth of real estate for people coming primarily out of state to Idaho and the area around here. So very well versed with that dialogue and that conversation to help you guys understand expectations and any questions or concerns you may have. So keep that in mind. That's just a little blurb. And to end it off, I think with a growing community like we're experiencing here in the Treasure Valley, it just presents such a mass amount of opportunities for entrepreneurs especially, and businesses and organizations who are looking to think a little bit outside the traditional box that doesn't really fit into the traditional landscape anymore of those major tech hubs. So keep that in mind. If you're looking to explore something new, this may be a great place to set up shop and go to town. So yeah, check out my other videos. Thanks for watching. And if you guys leave a comment, I'll do my best to respond to everybody. And hopefully we'll see you out in Idaho. All right, see you guys.